Hi, in this lesson we want to talk about the domain and range. Now the domain and range make up some of the properties of functions. Properties of functions are characteristics or attributes that describe the behavior, structure, and relationship within mathematical functions. These properties help us to analyze, understand, and classify functions. So starting off with our domain. What is our domain? Well, loosely defined, our domain is all possible x values of your function. Let me turn that off. All possible values of all possible x values, because that's the key part. So all possible x values of your function. And an example of this would be if we were to draw a function that is limited along the x axis. It will be a function that we haven't done so far, but it is a function that you will have done in your respective schools. So what I'm going to draw here is an inverse function, namely the logarithmic function. As we can see, the logarithmic function is not defined for any values where x is less than 0. It is only defined for values that are greater than 0, meaning that this is our domain. And next we want to talk about the range. Now, as you can guess, or as you already know, this describes all possible y values of your function. So as much as a function can be limited by its input, it can also be, or as a result of that input limitation, it also introduces output limitations, which we call the range. So namely, we have, for example, the inverse of a logarithmic function will be a exponential function, which in itself is also limited. If I make this example, I know this is not the standard exponential you're used to, but still it emphasizes the same point, where we can see that our function is defined for all values of y being greater than 0, but not the values that are smaller than 0, and it's also not defined along the line y is equals to 0. So this is our range. And as we'll notice in the next lesson, there is a reason why our range and domain exists, and this will be because of asymptotes, which we are going to discuss in the videos to come.